LEGO Horizon Adventures might not be your typical LEGO game that we all know, but there's plenty to keep in mind when you're jumping into Aloy's spin-off block-bashing adventure. Whether you're going it alone or with a friend in co-op, you'll want to make sure you're making the most of everything the game has to offer. We've got the most important tips, tricks, and early game things that we really wish we knew when we started out with the game, especially if you're playing on the higher difficulties. Oh boy. A bit of a simple one to start with, but a great one to keep in mind. When you're going through the levels, you'll notice a trail of bronze studs leading you on the path to follow. However, though the levels are pretty straightforward and limited in terms of exploration, there will often be a trail of silver studs off to the side. Follow them for some extras. Most of the time it'll be a hidden away chest or a structure to build, which will always reward you with currency and maybe a gadget or weapon ability. Either way, it's always worth keeping an eye out for if you're looking to clear, smash, and grab everything you can in each level. LEGO Horizon Adventures has 4 different characters you can play as throughout, each offering their own style of combat. Aloy uses her bow at a range that can be charged up. Val throws spears that can pierce through enemies and hit further enemies beyond them. Teersa throws random items from her basket which will explode on impact. And Erend smashes with his hammer, which can be charged to dash forwards and take a powerful swing. Though you unlock each of these characters throughout the chapters, it's worth playing around with each one. Aloy, Val, and Teersa are all mainly ranged focus characters, but have their own advantages and disadvantages. Erend is a close-up melee fighter that offers a drastically different style of play. You'll probably find one that you want to stick with, and better yet, mix and match the best duos in cooperative multiplayer. Yes, we all like to save those potions and items just in case there's a tougher encounter to come, and never actually end up using them. But in LEGO Horizon Adventures, you'll be picking up special weapons and gadgets throughout the levels. Use them. It might be flaming arrows, scatter shots, earthquake hammers, blast boots, tripcasters. There's a whole lot you can find for each of the characters. You'll keep finding plenty, and these don't come with you to the next levels, so just use them in every way you can. Chances are there will be more for you to pick up immediately, especially in some of the combat encounters, so they're not in short supply. It'll just be a waste to save them and will make things harder. So now that you're making the most of all those gadgets and weapons in the midst of combat, you might think you have everything you need. Well, you can actually use the environments to your advantage in a number of ways too. Instead of trying to hide in the tall grass, set it on fire instead and cause any machines that run through it to burn. Use elemental effects to your advantage where there are pools of water. You can even use certain biomes advantages, like tipping columns of rocks in the desert so that they fall onto the machines below. Make sure you take the time to experiment, and if you're playing on higher difficulty levels, you're going to want to take everything you can get. Back to the gamers like hoarding things topic, saving up in-game currency is often a fair habit that will help you out in the long run. In typical LEGO games, especially when you know there are expensive characters or unlocks to be found later on. However, that's not really the case here. You'll be collecting studs at every turn, and before you know it, you'll have more than you know what to do with. These will mainly be used to buy customizations for the town, buy new outfits to wear, or buy some perk upgrades. The perks are the most expensive thing here, and it's worth just grabbing them as and when you can. Don't worry about the cost, because a couple more levels and you will be rich again. Speaking of the perks, in the literal skill tree, you'll want to make sure you remember these exist. Even on some of the easier difficulties, the game will ramp up in a way that these upgrades are going to be helpful, offering plenty of benefits to different playstyles. While each character will level up individually, getting automatic upgrades to health and damage and all that good stuff, the perks are shared across all of them, so there's no worry about where to invest them. Just head back, buy what you can, and set out into the next levels. Finally, ending with something quite simple but easy to forget, collect the studs from the structures you build around the town as it grows. Each building you restore will accumulate studs while you're gone, and walking near them between each level will add them to your pockets ready to spend. The holograms will display a little stud symbol when they're ready to collect, and they'll accumulate if you do multiple levels, so whether it's out of habit or if you need a few more extra studs to afford a perk, it's worth keeping in mind.